Day, Star Wars Day. Yay! Yes. Can't keep that up. That's far too hot in there. But something fell out. Oh, I've lost my magazine bit. Hello, may the 4th be with you.
New era.
Sorry? Yeah, sorry, got everything going on in the background. There we go.
Thanks. Whatever you've just said, nobody's heard it. So.
Oh, thank God for that. That's all
go.
right. Okay, look, I've lost me bit out the back of me gun. Me props are falling apart.
Yeah, this was well rehearsed.
Yes.
To say.
Sorry. There we go. We are here. Let me get that out of the way. Oh look, now I've got to move me coffee. There we go. Can anyone still hear us? We all good? I think what it was, me Millennium Falcon sound effects were a bit too strong. I think it's still going in the background. There you go.
Yeah.
You guys, you can't hear this one. They can at home. Well, I hope they can. But yeah, that's me Millennium Falcon sound effects. It's alright, we'll mute it and let it spin round and do its bits and pieces. Hello, welcome, Star Wars. You can see it, I've got it all out. And actually, the sad thing is, this is probably only half of it as well. So, but I thought I'd get everything out. Also, it's a good excuse to give it a dust. So the cabinets can all have a dust whilst it's all been dragged out. And we'll all be fine. It's very noisy. It's right, I've turned it off now. You're okay. All good. My lord. I've got both chats up. That's probably not a good thing. I can see them all here. So yes, very good. Everybody okay?
Yeah. Yes, fine.
So I've spoilt the moment now with everyone because I never knew I was going to do that. So yes, good. Yes, it is Star Wars Day, so I thought I'd say get everything out. We can have a look around it all. We trust you've all had a lovely weekend. So yes, cool. Eccentric. Nobody can call me eccentric. I'm all right. I'll tell you what I'm going to have to do though. I'm going to have to take one chat off because I've got both of them running here, and it's a bit like wow. It's like a deer in the headlights job. Let me go like that and then go like that and we can see where we all are then. Right, anyway, hope we are all doing very well. How's it going? Had a good weekend?
Yeah, very good.
Very good.
Very busy.
Very busy. Still got all the orders flying in and everything, so that's all good. Thank you very much for all the orders everyone's placing. It's all very nice. So yes. So, are we going to just talk about Star Wars today? I'm ready. I've even got my mug, got my t-shirt.
Yeah, you carry on.
Knock yourself out.
See, these guys aren't impressed with it, obviously.
No, I'm going to watch that last Star Wars tonight, I think. The most recent one. I can't remember what it's called.
I have to be honest, I'm not actually a fan of the new ones.
You know?
Not really. As I say, it's almost... and I have seen them all, but I've only actually all seen them once. I've never had the heart to go back and see it again. I think that's always a bit of a clue to it. I think it's one of those ones where, without sounding horrible, but they're just exactly the same as the first three. Just done it again with different ways of doing it, you know? And it's a bit like, well, you could have come up with something a bit more original from a script point of view. So...
I did say that about the first one.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's almost just like they've tried to rewrite, and the bit where, you know, you say with the second one of the new three, it's got AT-ATs in it attacking a base that's very, again, it's like, really? You couldn't come up with anything new? They were good the first time, but please come up with something new, you know? So, yeah. Anyway, never mind. All good. They're all going to crack on about it in there now. We're just going to turn into a flaming thing of you know, Star Warsy things, but never mind, we won't go down quite that far about them.
Hey, I suppose the way Disney looks at it is like Lucas looked at it back in 1970s and 80s, is like it's made for 8-year-old.
Yeah.
Not 40 odd, you know, plus year-old blokes.
Yeah.
Or women or whatever. So to them it's probably new and exciting because they've never seen.
Yeah, and I suppose what it is as well, when you do go back and look at the originals, they are very, very cheesy. But no, I think it's one of those, it's personal choice to them all. And I think like most things, because as you say, because of our age, we have our era.
Yeah.
And obviously the modern ones will never be as good, even though the special effects are clearly a lot better. And those types of things.
I mean, Rogue One was the best one so far.
I stand by that. Rogue One was clearly the best film. So,
besides that and Empire, they're the best Star Wars films for me.
Yeah, Yes.
So that's, for a standalone story, it stood up, if that makes sense. It worked.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
I wasn't impressed with Solo.
No, again, that
It
was
was
just a
okay.
bit. Yeah, it was all right, but
I think as well the expectations around Star Wars is so massive. It's beyond expectation of people, isn't it?
Yeah, that's the problem they've got. You go in with so much baggage already, with such a high expectation that perhaps.
I think
I'm
that's
judged, isn't it?
obviously it's the thing. If somebody said to me, "Would you like to probably work on one or get involved?" I wouldn't want to do it because no matter what you do, you're going to get flamed, aren't you? You know, because if you played it true, it would be crap. And then obviously, if you tried to put your spin on it, you're like being horrendous to history, almost trying to rewrite history. So you could never do right for doing wrong. So I have to say,
Yeah.
to Mr. Abrams, good luck, because it was you were never going to win. You're never going to win doing something like that. That's the point to it. So anyway, as I say, Rogue One, that was my favourite film out of the new ones. I thought nice beginning and an end. That was it. Chomp, done. Very good.
Yeah.
But as I say, all the other ones, not really a fan. Even though I've got all the stuff and the various bits and pieces. So yes. But anyway, I thought this actually led in quite well to how the hobby, because obviously sometimes I do actually think about things to talk about on the show. You wouldn't think it, but this was definitely one of them. How I was inspired by Star Wars to do model kits of probably how it was, purely because as a kid you always wanted to have models to fly around. And Star Wars was actually a good way of doing it. And obviously I had the Kenner toys like most of us did, which are now worth an absolute mint, which I threw away, or blew up, dog and all the rest of it. Yeah. But yeah, and that's the thing. But if you look at the Kenner toys, they were horrendous. Apart from probably the Snow Speeder was probably the most accurate shaped one out of them all. All the other ones look horrendous. Like the AT-AT, I remember as a kid thinking the AT-AT looked just like the real thing until you see one now. And to be honest, I've got a friend of mine who collects them, and he's got the AT-AT, and it looks nothing like an AT-AT. So, I'd rather have my one and do it that way, So it's interesting, though, how, from my point of view, I could build and recreate the kits, and obviously it would have been the old AMT ones back then.
God, yeah.
Which was as close as I got to it,
Yeah, I had a C3 and an R2D2, I think.
Mm.
I like Star Wars, but I wasn't into it as a kid. I didn't have the figures and everything. I was more into Action Force.
Yeah.
Which is G.I. Joe in the States, is it? The little ones as well, not the big action, and the little G.I. Joe type Action Force spin-off type things. So, but I have still got some original figures. They're in a bag in the loft, I think, Star Wars figures.
That'd probably be worth a fortune.
I've got an Imperial shuttle.
Yoda.
I've still got my Yoda.
And he's still got a snake in the stick, so he's worth a fortune.
Yeah.
No one's having him, is Matt. I've had this fella for, decades now, isn't it?
But
that was my era, Return of the Jedi.
I think I've definitely got original Obi-Wan. Probably without a cloak and a lightsaber. Original Luke. Again, probably without a lightsaber, if I remember. It was always broke. And then I've got some from Return of the Jedi, I think, in between. But yeah, it's like the rare droids that fetch money into it.
Yeah,
that nobody bought because he was in the film 10 seconds top.
Fleetingly, yeah. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And they're the ones that people want, aren't they? Not the common figures. But I think I've definitely got. I have got a Han Solo on Hoth.
Mm.
It was a bit threadbare and worn. But yeah.
No, I must admit, years and years ago, I say not going over my previous life, but very much on hard times, and ended up flogging my entire collection to a guy in a service station car park. Looked like a couple of drug dealers, boot to boot, transferring over. And I think I flogged my entire lot. I think back then it was like 400 quid, which was quite a lot of money. This guy was starting a collection, but some of mine had boxes still and all the rest of it, but just needed the cash. And as I say, I've got a friend of mine and he collects Star Wars stuff, and he buys them from all around the world and everything. And like he says now, some of the ones I flogged, it was, he was saying it's 500 quid just for that. Like Darth Vader's TIE Fighter, I had boxed. And again, he was like, you had the box? And it was like, yeah, you know, it's Darth Vader's TIE Fighter, things like that. And I had the Millennium Falcon boxed as well. Some of this was obviously to my parents, who looked after them after I left home. And then when I had them off of them to go through, it's like all the plastic had gone yellow as well and stuff like that. So apparently the boxes were worth more than the kits, you know, the bits inside.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's like one of those things. At the end of the day, didn't really needed the money far more, had to put nappies on the baby. So it was a case of that was the issue with it. But now you look back thinking, God, what a mistake of the maker. Should have kept it. But
the thing is, like, you'd never get rid of it if you had that attitude. Cause
you wouldn't. You'd end up with it.
You know, it's like some things you wouldn't think that's worth a fortune, or you'd think would be worth a fortune, and other things, you know, oh, this is just rubbish, you get rid of it, and it probably will be. You just, you know, you'd end up being a collector or a hoarder, wouldn't you, really? And, you know, have a little corridor in your house where you have to walk to the to get to places because you can't move.
Yes.
Not my thing, really. I've only got my old toys because my mum wouldn't chuck them and they're in the loft. Most of them are still at my mum's in the loft, to be honest. I'm not looking forward to the day of sorting through it, if I'm honest. Like, she does mention, oh, you're going to have to clear it out one day. Yeah, I'll do it.
And that's where suddenly you'll find out this is worth 50 quid, that's worth 100 quid. I mean, thank you for keeping all of this. It's like having a vault.
Yeah.
But no, from my point of view, I have to say is that one of the reasons I got into modelling was through Star Wars, so I do have to tip my hat to them. And then obviously knowing about Industrial Light and Magic and how they did a lot of their modelling, I suppose that was sort of when I took it to the next level. Obviously stopped prattling around with it and tried to do it seriously. That was purely because of that as well. You know, from those types of things. And I think also when Star Wars went back to doing it again in, when was it, 2099 or whatever it was, when they re-released them, they went obviously a lot of digital and everyone forgot about practical effects, as in actually having the real thing and models and stuff. And it was quite nice that now they've sort of gone back in a lot of ways to using models again, you know, because although CGI is fantastic now, you have got that sort of, you know, I don't know, that sort of tangible thing of holding something in your hand and working with something instead of it being in 3D space and stuff like that. So in some ways, again, Star Wars has always been the leader from that type of thing as well, from the film industry. You know, and now we've been blessed with Bandai coming back and taking the mantle and obviously paying the licensing fee, which I think is probably a lot more, of re-releasing some of their gorgeous things. So as you say, like their X-Wing here, which is absolutely... and it still works, and it still lights up and all the bits and pieces as well. Again, I think that is absolutely the pinnacle of any kit. The 48 scale X-Wing is just absolutely gorgeous. But again, their Millennium Falcon, the Master Grade one, if you've never built one, it's like building Lego. There's still no glue there, and as long as you just do the sprue cleanup, it just fits together beautifully, and then you can go to town with your weathering as you want to do it. Their figures as well, obviously they've done, you know, a lot with the Gundam range and stuff like that, so they know what they're doing when it comes to these things. But their figure range, the way that, for instance, C-3PO goes together, so he's all that, you know, obviously the gold finish, the way they've very cleverly hidden the tabs so he goes together, you've got no cleanup or anything else to do that afterwards. Again, I think that's incredibly detailed. And I often wonder, because obviously Bandai can produce this type of stuff, to say if they ever made a Spitfire, you know, or, you know, a Sherman tank, it would just be, you know, be the pinnacle, wouldn't it? It would just be amazingly detailed and stuff like that. But seeing how they can do injection molding in this type of thing, I think is absolutely incredible. So the only weak spot in this lot is the AT-AT, which is the Reeboks from Revell that did, and they charge how much for it? It's horrendous price.
A lot. That's the 150th scale one.
Yeah. Yeah,
it's still an odd scale, and
it's odd in every way, but it's the only one you'll ever get like that. And obviously I upgraded that and we did a load of scratch building to it, so we scratch built all the details on it, rebolted the legs and used all the various screws in it and stuff like that to make it a little bit more authentic. But you know, I did have it out with the reps at Telford that stood there. The sales guys from Revell would say, really? And like they pointed out, is that they get a price point for buying it from obviously the said manufacturer who makes it. They don't make it, and that's the closest to the price they can get. It's not really them charging horrendous for it, it's what they had to pay. And like, you know, they say as well, it is the only one. So unless they were going to try and do their own tooling and do it that way, you know, and let's face it, we all saw what happened to Dragon with their 1/35th scale version of it.
Well, just licensing again, isn't it?
Well, again, apparently that was the whole point to it. The licensing deal fell through. They couldn't agree on a price. And Dragon had already apparently spent a lot of money on CAD work to do it, and then they pulled out of it because they just couldn't come together with an agreement on a price for it because it was too high. So, well, that's the version of the story I've been told.
Yeah, well, it's a shame, really, because the 35th one would have been brilliant.
Yeah, Disney are not going to make any money off something that's not sold.
Well, this is
the
it.
other way of looking at it, innit? But, you know, I don't know.
Because again, they apparently 3D printed, didn't they, off of the CAD stuff, one of it. And that's when they put all the German infantry, 35th scale German infantry with it as a promo picture. I thought that looked quite cool, actually. You could do quite a lot of things with that. So, but yeah, so anyway, it's all a lot of fun. So in here, I've got a real mixed bag. So we've got solid resin, scratch built stuff as well. So again, we've got some toys. So this down in here is actually just one of the play ones that I've upgraded and painted and weathered. So we did it to that one. So that's just one of those cheap ones. And so's this guy as well. So these ones are the ones which we literally, so it's the kids play set. Does this one make sound? I think it does. It's got a, there you go. So again, it just shows with the hobby how you can just take a kid's toy, strip it back, repaint it, weather it, and go through the motions of it, and you end up with something actually that's not too bad. And if you wanted to, you could have filled the battery compartment and stuff like that. But this one, a lot of this one was just a case of, right, we're just going to go through the motions to do the weathering on it. So we've done it there. So some of these are literally toys which have been done. This one is just a resin. We did it as part of the one-day build, which is the blaster, the old broom handle gun. So again, this is just literally solid resin, which we did. So if you want to see that one, that's a one-day build, that one, somewhere or other, which we did. As I say, I do a lot of other proppy stuff, which I haven't got here because we haven't got enough room. But yes, all good stuff. But I think it has been somewhat definitely as an inspiration for me. And obviously I've got this lump, which is still my pride and joy. And I say lump in its best possible thing, which is all lit up. It's LED'd and fibre optic'd and everything else in this one. So that was quite a lot of fun to put together. But again, that's a 700, 800 quid bit of resin sat here. Probably my most expensive kit still, because it's still more expensive than one of them. So
because it's a big lump, isn't it?
It is a big lump. So trying to find an original one of these, which hasn't been a remold, and go through and put it together. And I know I got a lot of flack at the time for actually building it. Because as I say, there was only 98 of them made, and it was like, and you've built it? You can't build it. It's supposed to go. And I was like, no. And it had warped the, you know, say 1982, this one was cast, and wasn't very nice at all. So again, one of those labours of love to do, but actually really was fun, especially when you had to redo. So obviously this thing's cut in half from the resin point of view for moulding, so we had to go down and scratch build all the little bits that go onto it to detail it back up in all the areas, and some of the other ones where the moulding clearly was just awful. So again, I decided that we were actually going to do it as I wanted rather than I think what other people would want. So we went through and did the motions on this one. So the builds of all of these are on the site somewhere if you can find them. So dotted amongst everywhere. Some of them are in the free areas, some of them obviously are in the paywall bit, so take your pick. But yes, I have to say it has affected me, my life, Star Wars, in one way, and definitely with the modelling. So
how old's that Destroyer build now?
well, this one,
Yeah, how long ago was that?
a few years ago now, it's got to be 5-6 years ago we did it.
It has, isn't it? Was it because you did it there, didn't you? But you ain't long moved.
Yeah, only when we just moved in here, because I used the entire bench. I had my spray booths in those days all down the backside and had them in front of me, wouldn't it? And we just sprayed it here. And I think we had to have the cameras on the wall and used to have them down angle from there instead of above back in those days as well. So, but yes, thoroughly enjoyed it. One of those ones where, yeah, it was once in a lifetime build. I can't imagine building another one. And I still get people wanting to buy it.
Well, yeah, obviously. It's a collector's item, though, isn't it? So,
Mind you, Nasvesta's come out with Air One, which is a bit smaller than this one, but it's not that far off.
No, it's not too bad, is it? Yeah, but it's not as detailed as that, is it?
No, no.
So you need the X-Wing.
Well, I have it there. That's still down in a box. That's one to do one day. But yeah, I have to say, it's one of those. Thoroughly enjoy working with them. I do like doing the sci-fi stuff purely because you can let yourself go. You know, the colours. I get people say it's the wrong colour. Should be white. So I don't want to do it white. Do it grey. And they say, but it's not right. I said, really? You there?
Yeah. Yeah. Are you there in that imaginary world?
Yes, that's it. And
They don't look white on the screen to me.
Well, this is it, and you know there is that. Obviously, you get people who are obviously aficionados on it. Apparently, they're white because they need to reflect the sun and stuff. So it's like, yeah, well, I'm doing it. I've done it this colour. I enjoyed it. That's the colour I want to do them. And I get people say, "Oh, your AT-AT's over weathered," and it's like, do you know where it's been? It hasn't been on Jakku, that one. I tell you, that one's been somewhere proper shite. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's just one of those ones. That's the nice thing with these. You can do literally whatever you want to them, you know? So you don't have to actually do it in how it is in the film. Do it how you want to do it. Who's to say this Star Destroyer? Technically it is Avenger, but, you know, she could be from anywhere, at any point in its career.
It's a big triangle, isn't it?
It is, the cheese wedge. So, yes. Anyway, on other news, I have been busy today because I have been... and forever will be. No, well, I won't do any more puns. Where are we? There we go. So this guy's done. We've actually primed up. You can see very nice bit of primer on here because this actually was really textured, and the bits that go with it. So this is actually the Mr. What's it called?
Primer Surfacer.
Primer Surfacer 1000, and as you can see, it's done a beautiful job of smoothing this thing out. You know, down on these, and again we've got it on the engine section, so we've got the neck, and then obviously down into here. You can see
It's quite cool, actually, primer.
It's alright, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think you could almost get away with this colour as the base for it, because it seems to be lighter. You say because I've got grey under here, you can see the difference with it. This is actually a very pale grey on these. So these are all done. I've only got one engine in, so I can weather the others. That's the whole point, so I can get in, otherwise I won't be able to weather them if I've got all the engines in. But this primer, I know we were saying about it did let go the other day on me, but I do like it because it goes down absolutely silky smooth, and that was on pretty rough plastic, you know. So from that point of view, I think it's really nice. And so we've got the neck from behind the head. So, and again...
So what was your mixing ratio?
Again, I tend to use 60-40, so it's 60% thinners, 40% on the old...
What was you on, rapid or levelling?
No, just levelling. I don't tend to use the rapid thinners anymore, purely because it dries too flat. I like to have something that's got a little bit more, you know, sort of satin finish to it. I think it just, everything works really well. So that thing's technically all primed up now, or painted, whichever way you want to look at it. Now it's going to go lighter. I'm going to make it more of a white, and then we can dull it back, because obviously the thing is it's going to go in with washes and it will get darker with every coat you go through with it. So the point is I want to make it as light to start with, because with every single time it's going to get sort of darker and darker as we make our way through. So we've done that. Oh yeah, and I've got this guy as well. I've put on a couple of the things just to see. So this is all dry now, so I put on some of the containers just to see how detailed they were, and actually I think they're alright, but I'm right not to put them on because I can't weather in here, because otherwise if I try and weather in there I'm not going to be able to get it out. So the whole point is it's just going to have a wash, but beautiful detail. Once it's got some primer on this to start with, to be honest Nathan, it's very similar to your Javelin. It looks crap in white, but when you get some primer on it, all the details really pop.
So what's the idea with moulding stuff in white? Styrene, it's bloody horrible.
People are not going to paint it, I guess, but...
Wow, Jesus. But as you see, the details are really crisp, but when you first look at them just in plastic, they just look awful, you know? But actually, you get the primer on, the details really pop through. So, yeah, that little guy's all done as well, so that's all ready. So yes, I'm thinking we'll get its next coat of paint on tomorrow, which will be a light coat right the way through, and then we can just literally sit back on that one and see how that looks overall, and then obviously we'll put in some of the contrast greys into it and see how they look as well, because sometimes you can't see how light things are until you get another colour with it. Classic example, if you look at the Falcon when we sprayed that, it looked wrong until you put the colours onto it, and then it comes right, and then it case of right, okay, then we can go in with weathering washes and various things. That will be exactly the same, to be honest, with that one.
So is there actually any other colours on that, or is it just...
No, it does. It's grey. It's got grey banding onto it. The panels are all slightly different colours.
Right.
That's how they did it. And then depending which version you're doing, if you're doing the one where obviously from the original 2001, then that one is basically almost white and grey. It's almost white, and then it's just light shades of grey everywhere, a couple of dark shades of grey. The one from 2010, where apparently it's been sat floating around Jupiter for years, that's got like yellowy. It's all gone yellowy colour and all the rest of it. It does look very nice, but I don't think it would do it justice. You've got to do it the white and grey version rather than the yellow version of the later films. So yes.
Cool.
Very
and then
good.
you'll be all set for your BC10.
Yes, then we're, as I say, so my plan of action really for this week is I'm going to do all the reviews tomorrow as well, so I'll get them done and I can edit them up as we make our way through. And then we were sort of discussing this the other night, I'll start preparing the plastic for the VC10, because again it's going to be sanded. I've got to do some repairs. Clearly those cracks in it need to be sorted out, so that's the type of thing which I'll flat it all off like me and Matt were discussing doing before they go together. Yeah. So sorting out the parts flat and doing them, so it will be very much akin of like, you know, probably give it a coat of primer even before putting it together just to see what it looks like, because it'll be easier to do things like wings flat on a table and sand them rather than having shapes and them rocking all over the place. So that's the plan for that one, is to get that sorted, and at the same time obviously I was starting on the B17G. So the B17G will be the next one up, but then as the Discovery's finished and moves out of the way, then obviously they are both on the go here at the same time, so that'd be fun.
Yeah, not exactly small kits, are they?
No, they'd be fine.
A long summer with that VC10.
Yeah, that is your big summer build.
My summer build's the VC10 in flight. So Nate, are you building me a gaggle of tornadoes to go behind it then?
I think I can come up with something, yeah.
Because I say you can have German ones behind it or anything as well. So
have you settled on is it a 90s one?
Well, this is it. I don't know when they changed the colour scheme. It depends what colour scheme. Now we know the decals are, well, non-existent. I can put it into any markings we want now and any colour scheme.
Yeah, I'll do it.
So you're either going to go with the camo, isn't it?
Yeah.
Grey and camo. Okay.
Yeah.
Or we go with that hemp colour all over with the grey. Or you go for the later one in the grey.
Yeah.
In the low vis grey.
I think really for bigger scope of stuff hanging out the back, I think you're going to be looking at a camo one, aren't you?
Yeah.
Because would that be 80s?
Yeah, because that means you can go from anything from Lightnings,
Phantoms,
early Harriers,
Jags, early Harriers,
Tornadoes, your ones.
Yeah.
So really, the camo one would probably be the better option, unless we did do what we was going to say to do, like a first Gulf War one.
Yeah.
Some desert pink stuff hanging out the back of it. Because again, you've obviously got the RAF Buccaneer coming out later on in the year. Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
You can obviously do Tornadoes, Jags again.
Yeah.
An F-15, I presume, would have probably refueled off back of it, would it?
Not 15s or 16s, because they use the boom system, not the drogue. Right. So you could have Hornets though. You could have
Hornets,
A6s, US Navy,
Corsairs, Hornets, Tomcats off of it. Yeah.
Well, I'm kind of thinking for the SIG, so really we could do it either Lightning or something German or Tornadoes.
If you're doing it in hemp, that's Gulf War, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then hemp would also cover your grey Lightnings.
Yeah.
Your Phantoms.
Mm-hmm.
You could still do the Tornadoes with the hemp one. The hemp one's right down the middle, isn't it?
Yeah. Then you got to do I do it extra acrylics hemp?
I think for the hemp, you're all right with the Hataka, you know. It's the same colour as the Victor, wasn't it? It was more of the beige colour, wasn't it? I'd have to have a think. A couple of Harriers, that'd be cool. But I'll do you a couple of Tornadoes. I'm sure I could rustle
Say,
something.
if we're doing the magnet thing, sure, we can chop and change if we can make it work.
Well,
Yeah.
my plan will be is literally all we'll do is we'll put magnets in the basket and in the actual the drogue itself, the package, and then that way you just need a tiny bit of metal on your refueling probe, so you could just drill it and put a little pin in, and that'll be enough to hold it in place. So you just drill the pipe, the actual probe, and put a tiny bit of metal in there, and then a neo magnet in the drogue chute will hold it.
Yeah, do you think?
I might have some metal.
I was about to say, does anybody do? I've got a white metal one for a Buccaneer.
Yeah, but I don't know if the white metal will be.
Don't think that'll work.
Magnetic.
No, I'm just saying, I've got a white metal one for the Buccaneer. I didn't say it was going to work.
Yeah.
Surprised Master don't do something like that.
Well, I think Master do refueling probes, but I'm just checking if they're magnetic.
But they're brass, aren't they? Though, well, they're
I
going to
think
be.
they're brass, aren't they?
I'm gonna check, but
Get your magnet out.
There you go. Look, this collection of Fito tubes and
yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know if I've got a refueling probe.
It's obviously going to be around it.
Come
David,
on.
I can't get it because it's out of stock. Sorry about it. I don't know if I can even get the G anymore, but yeah, I know the D's out of stock, so pretty much now what's on site is what we've got, because I've sat here and updated it. By the way, we've had loads of deliveries and I've put them up. Not that if, I don't know, the way the phone's been going, there might not be nothing left, but but yes. So thinners, glues, paint sets. Oh, is that mine? Mine again, isn't it? Uptail lungs, oils. I don't know. I've sat here and done loads this morning. So
Yeah. I've not got a. Do you know what is magnetic? Is a paper clip. You could cut off a tiny section.
Yeah, that's
of
it.
paper
Just
clip.
at the end, and just all you need is a tiny bit. The neo magnets are strong, so they'll hold anything.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, I could rustle up something. I'm sure. It'd be nice to have a mixed.
I'm thinking like the refueling probe or on the actual plane that it's hanging off might need to be reinforced, so it doesn't sort of just give way in the plane. Nosedive. Could you imagine? Because you know the one on, like, say if it was a Buccaneer was hanging off, that sort of L-shaped one is not going to be very strong to hold the aircraft in on a magnet. You know what I mean?
They'd have to be on their own bases.
Yeah, they'll have to be on their own bases. I'm thinking like something like these. You just have little ones underneath.
And a flexible hose on the.
Yeah, then we're just going to have a flexi hose for it coming off. So yeah, they'll be on their own little bases, the aircraft. I don't think it'll take the weight of the actual aircraft hanging off the back of it. Not unless we have proper thick heavy duty into the wings and do it that way.
Let me get a book.
Just a quick one here, Matt. I'm just about to place an order for some AK Extreme metals. What thinner cleaner would you use with them?
Just lacquer thinners. We did have some extreme cleaner, but we've sold that.
I do extreme cleaner, but honestly, lacquer thinners does the same. They don't need thinning. Don't thin them. They're perfect as they are.
So yeah, lacquer thinners will just blow it through with that. I'll tell you what, my grass needs cutting.
Is it getting long?
Oh
Are you just going to go for silage?
I'm just stuck because I don't normally have my blind up in here, and I thought I'll put it up just to get a bit of fresh, fresh sunlight in here. And I'm looking at, I'm going to cut it after we've finished because that's annoying me. It's proper shot up. Anyway, got any questions on yours?
Yes, I have. Hold on, I just have to get it. We're talking about acrylic with tip dry, pretty much all acrylics, you will get some type of tip dry or clogging or anything else. The guys have been very helpful in here, all talking about helping them out and everything else. But honestly, a retarder works an absolute treat. And I don't know if anyone's mentioned it in here, but if you haven't got any retarder, try a little bit of airbrush cleaner, acrylic airbrush cleaner. There we go. Richard's just said that. Vallejo cleaner works instead of X20A as thinners. Yes, you can. But honestly, even if you just put a little bit of the airbrush cleaner into your mix, if you look at this stuff, it's got like bubbles, so it's obviously some type of soap in it. But it does, again, it will slow down the drying time of it, and it just makes things a lot better. But honestly, just buying a retarder of some description or a flow improver will help massively. It's literally one of those things, especially if you're into that realm of being in a very hot and humid country. It's almost a must. Otherwise, you're just going to be in this thing of it, you know, getting tip dry on your needle. And when we talk about tip dry, you know, obviously it does dry on the needle, and that's the thing where you get the stop and start, because occasionally it just builds up on the needle and then it flicks it off, and then you get the spit in and the stopping and starting and stuff. But Flow Improver literally is a complete game changer. They do make it.
Vallejo's got some.
Yeah, Vallejo's got. I've got a bottle of it over there. I can't reach it today with this lot all in the way, but
that stuff.
yeah.
I've just ordered some today, so we'll be back in stock tomorrow.
Yeah.
Because the one I got in had sold out, but we've got airbrush cleaners in stock, and I've restocked all sorts. You have to go around the site. Yeah, it's been a busy morning, shall we say, on here.
Yes.
Doing the stock, but pretty much up to date. So yeah, got loads of stuff back in.
Yes, Robbie, I've got a Victor. I got the Victor tanker down there as well. To be honest, I've got that, and I've got a Nimrod. You can have a collection of aircraft.
I've got a Nimrod refueling off it.
Yeah, we can have a Nimrod refueling off of it. Yeah, that'd be a good one. That's what I could do now. A series of jets, all in flight, all being refueled by my various tanker fleet that I've got here.
Yeah.
Matt, thank you. His attacker paints have just arrived. That's Martin.
Good, thank you. Playing out. Glad they've turned up. I say I've had quite a few messages from people, so thank you, saying the stuff's turned up and happy and blah de blah de blah. So it's nice, actually. It's nice to have the messages just to say they're turning up, and I think they are getting through a lot quicker. I know some of you have had some leakage, so we say, with some attackers. I've noted this, and I've compiled an email, and I'm going to send it off to them to find out what the crack is about it, because, to be honest, I'm not overly impressed. It does need sorting, and they need to know.
Oh, of course they do, so, absolutely. Yeah.
If you have got any, please send me an email with your picture of it, you know, it's normally just one bottle, to be honest. It's not seem to be wrecking, but it's in the sets, it's not the individual, just so I can make them aware there's still a bit of a problem. I don't know what's happening with it, whether the tops aren't on tight enough or what, I don't know. But I know some of you have already, so yeah. So I'll forward it on to them. Cool.
We got one down. Question: anyone got any options or opinions even on the Italeri 48 scale Chinook? I've built it.
It's the only one.
Yeah, it's it. I've built it. If you pop off into the, I think it's in the free area now. If you go to the classic builds, didn't we make it free? I think it is. There it is. Yeah, if you pop in here, you can see it. To be honest, we did a bit of a special. That was for the RAF at ODM as a bit of a thank you for an amazing day I had with them, and then obviously they were good enough to put up with the rest of us, who went and got to play hookers. And not that type of hooker. That means hooking up loads under Chinooks. So the members got to hook up a load under a Chinook, which was quite good. So yeah, a lot of the reference stuff for that isn't available anymore, purely because it was on the old site and I never came across the new one. But the video build's still there, and I talk about the differences because there's two versions of the Chinook. And obviously we were doing it from an they do the H1 to the H2 and the H3s, and that's the different versions of them in the kit. There's a couple of different flavors of them out there, and I explained it, and I think you see them in that one as well. So you can see about that one, but have a look. It's freebie one. Anyone can watch that, and you can go off and see that one and just see how I went about it. And I scratch built a load of areas on it and various things just to bring it up to speed, and then it went off to the RAF.
I'd say I think it's not a bad base kit, is it?
Straight off the bat, it's fine. Don't forget, Revell did a rebox of it as well. It's the same kit.
Yeah.
So, but as you say, there's 2 versions of it out there. Go off and have a look at it. They call it the D version, so it's got the different glass work with it for the front end, and also it's got some differences on the fuselage sides as well. The way that the back area is with it on the shoulders at the rear, they're moulded differently as well between different versions. So have a look at that one. You can see all about it. But generally, to be honest, really nice kit. Goes together very well. That's why I was always disappointed they never actually did do the Merlin, 48 scale Merlin that they were touting for years in their catalogue, but we never saw it because the Chinook came out really nice.
I think, to be honest, Italy's helicopters are pretty good in all the scales. You know, 72nd and the 48th ones they do, I reckon. Then I know, like, you had problems with the glasswork on the Seahawk, was it?
Yeah.
That's probably, you know, not one of the better ones, but most of the time their helicopters are really, really quite good.
Yeah, yeah. I must admit, like, for a long time, obviously, their Black Hawk family and Seahawk family, they were the only ones as well. You know, that's all you really had out there. And I know there's a couple other people doing them now, but they are still, I think, very nice kits and stand up very well, considering they're quite old by today's standards. Is the Trumpeter 132nd MiG-23 any good? It's the only one, so it's fantastic because it is the only one. There's nothing to go up against it. To be honest with you, it's got the odd little issue. Depends how much of a rivet counter you are, but generally, I think it looks good when it's built. It's a big jet.
I would say I've got one. Yeah, James, it is Trumpeter who did the 35th Chinook. Again, they did 2 versions, doing A and a D, is it?
Yeah,
I think,
yeah,
if I remember.
yeah.
And Gordon's got a question. Picked up a Premier Sea Venom FAW21. It has extra metal cockpit parts. Should I paint them using acrylics and glue with super glue? Also a vac canopy. Should I use them or the plastic parts? This one's more for Nathan. This is right.
This is Nathan's domain.
Neck of the woods.
I think with the metal cockpit parts, as long as you prime it with something, you can put the acrylics over the top. But
yeah,
I mean, Tamiya will go on metal fine. It just will be it'll just scratch off at the slightest provocation, won't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'd have a go at the vac form canopy because it's going to be scale thin, and if it goes wrong, you've got your plastic ones as a backup. But
So I take it that Premier kit is the old Frog kit.
I've never heard of it. to be
I'm
honest.
just thinking of what it is, to be honest, because
A quick Google.
don't know.
Vac form canopies are all right to deal with. Super sharp knife, cut it roughly out, and then use sanding sticks to fine tune it.
Yeah, Phil's done a tutorial on him. On his Moz, he did a tutorial in a Falcon, was it? Was it a Falcon back form?
Yeah.
Premier Sea Venom. Oh my
Or
God.
was it somebody else's?
Yeah, I think so.
Frog Novo.
Frog. So it was Frog kit.
Yeah, it's an old Frog Novo kit. But I'd be. The vac form canopy is worth a go because the plastic in that's going to be a bit like an ice cube, isn't it?
Yes. That would be very transparent, I would have thought.
So I'd just think about priming before you paint, and then with the metal super glue. If PVA won't hold it, I'm imagining the whole cockpit tub's a lump of white metal in there.
I just think it's got its ready-made nose weight.
Yeah, you will have then.
Hold up.
So I'll just show a video as we were making our way through.
Okay. Why are we that boring today?
You get
I
the
was going to
advice.
get sage advice on vac form canopies then, but
No. As I say, vac form it's one of those ones where they can be as difficult as you can imagine to use, but at the end of the day, if you need one, they're a godsend. You know, they can be a right pain to get to fit because you want to shape them completely so they just literally sit on top, because you've got no big areas to glue almost because they're very, very thin, you know. So it has to be that thing where I always say cut loosely around and then sand in, don't cut in, because you can take off a little bit, test fit, little bit, test fit, and I did a video all about it. It's a tutorial in the tutorial section about doing it, and that's the thing. So literally, when you get your canopy and you put it on your model, your aircraft, you want it to be a perfect fit, just drops on, because as I said, you've only got that edge all the way round, which is going to be your glue. And then obviously, so it doesn't take a lot to force it off. So if you've got a situation where it's not sitting correctly or anything else, you don't have a lot of contact areas to hold. It's not like it's a thick bit of plastic and it can bite and you can fill around it. So, you know.
The instructions I'm looking at now, they're a little bit unhelpful. But I mean, I'd give it a go, at least with the vac form canopy. When I've had vac form canopies in the past, you're nervous as hell about cutting too much out and then you've got to buy a new one.
Yeah.
At least we've got a plan B with the kit parts. But that's going to be, that's right up there with the Mach 2 level challenge, isn't it? It's not going to be an easy one, that.
It'll be fun. Keep you busy.
That's it.
And so I don't think there's another Sea Venom out there, is there?
There might be some Checkmaster resin,
Yeah, well, that's not very cheap, is it?
but that's going to be like a thick end of £100, I think. But give it a go. I'm sure you'll enjoy it. Academy make one? Question mark.
Oh, he's on about C47. It's David's on about C47. See, now, he didn't say what scale either. Because if it's 72nd, the Fujimi one, if you can get it, they're brilliant.
Well, they did a 48th one as well, didn't they?
That was Academy.
35th.
Oh, Academy.
Yeah. They
Is
did
there?
the Bullfrog. C46.
That's 48.
Was it 48th?
Yeah, I don't think they've done it fifth.
One or t'other.
Yeah.
Cyber Hobby did a Sea Venom, 72 scale. Give it a go. It's classic. It's proper modelling, that, isn't it, when you're getting vac form canopies out.
Well, it is.
Using frog kits as a base.
A couple of the guys were mentioning about our little tip about using WD-40 to do your trigger, and they're saying it's fantastic. The trigger is now smooth. Cleanup is a breeze with the needle as well. Silky smooth. And a couple of other people said about that.
Yeah. We've got a question on it. Just about to start the Airfix 48 Tiger Moth thread on the forum in the next week. I'm going to do the silver and yellow version and use LP11 for the first time. What is your advice on avoiding clear coats after decaling so you don't destroy the metal finish like I've done in my last build? That's from David.
Well, the thing is, don't forget, X11 isn't a metal finish, it's a silver finish, so it won't matter so much. It's not like you've got a proper metal finish like you used a metallizer paint. They're the ones that get killed by clear coats.
There you go. That's LP11.
Yeah.
Because I'd be tempted to satin coat a Tiger Moth.
Yeah, to be honest, I left my Gladiator raw, never touched it. So it's you get that hues and the lights bouncing off it a little bit, which looks quite nice. So personally, I wouldn't worry about it. If it's a gloss coat, don't forget, as it goes down, it dries, as Matt will testify, a beautiful finish. So you could decal straight onto it. You know, and don't forget it's lacquer as well, so it's hard as nails once it's dry.
I'm not going to clear coat that. I'm going to decal over it. And I mean, you can always get a polishing stick, because I've done that and just polish some bits of it up to get a different sort of hue and that.
Yeah.
Leave some bits flat, some bits shiny, whatever you want to do, really. But I think you'll be fine. It goes on. It's foolproof to spray, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah.
It's so forgiving. It's really forgiving stuff. So
all of their lacquer range, I know we often say about how good Tamiya acrylics are for beginners. Their lacquer range is just the same. You just start 50-50, go from there, and it is really, really easy to use. It's very, very straightforward. It's one of those paints where it works. You don't have any sort of issues with it or anything else like that. So that's why I quite like it. And it seems to work with any needle size as well, because I know people have been saying about using it with a 0.2. I know people using it with a 0.3, 0.4, and it just seems to work, no problem at all. So
yeah, it is. It's lovely stuff to spray. I'm really quite growing on me the LP range of Tamiya. So
somebody said just trying to find a good walk around of an HC2 with the analog cockpit. Okay, watch this space, because as I say, we were very blessed enough to get the RAF gave us free access to a Chinook for a day, to play with. And I've got shitloads, literally tons of footage, video and stills of everything, literally everywhere on it. There's not a bit I didn't take a photo of. So yeah, the thing is, it was on the old site and we had a resource area on there for it with a lot of it. So it's one of those things, I need to get them put onto the main site or something else like that. I'm not saying I'll do it this week, but I will get it up on the site soon so we can see it. And obviously we've got all the videos of the guys hooking up and doing that as well. So yeah, it'll be one of those things. It just needs a bit of time to sort all of that. But literally I've got tons of photos, hundreds and hundreds of photos on it. What's Matt's website? PM Models UK. You can get to it off of the Flory Models site, but if you just put in PM Models UK into Google, it'll come up with it, and that's our little place in the world. And it looks very similar to the PM store. Will look just like this. So there you go.
There.
So we've got it down there with all the various things.
Yeah.
Just click on the thing, and obviously we've got our new arrivals, special offers areas, the second handy bit, got airbrushes, tools, your thinners, all your sort of sundries up here at the top, and obviously all your paint manufacturers are down in below with all your kits.
Go and have a look. There's some new bits in there in the new arrivals as well. So,
have you put stuff in?
Yeah,
Ooh.
yeah, look. Got the Chernobyl. That's just cool. That is just epic.
Yeah, that gets tempting, isn't it?
For your Chernobyl diorama. Definitely. So yes, some good stuff in there, and I'd say we've had full restocks of everything. It's coming in all the time. I know we've been a bit low on stock recently, but that's because you like keep buying it. If no one bought anything, we'd be fine. We'd have a fully stocked shop. But yeah, it's
yeah, well, don't say that. You know, we want people to buy.
Yeah, keep buying, everybody.
We're happy. We're happy people buying. It's good.
Dave says, Matt, the Hataka paint that was leaking in the packet is still leaking. It was left on the side and out of the sun, but still seemed to be pumping out at the top. Must be something to do with it gassing.
Is it overfilled? I think it's as simple as that. They're putting too much paint in.
Maybe.
I'm just thinking, what top was on it? Was it an orange top or a black top?
Because the thing is, they switched over the tops from the orange one, this is the original, the black ones, which seem to be leaking, to these ones, which are supposed to be leak proof. But it'd be interesting, because we have had a couple of occasions, these are leaking as well.
Yeah, but some have been split.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering if they've over tightened them rather than under tightened them this time.
Yeah.
I've had a few leaky top ones, but mainly the black ones. I've not had an orange one. Good. But
they actually changed the tops. They're quite different now. You've got a lot more thread on them to the old ones, where it was just a little bit, you know.
But it's funny because, like, when I get the individuals, it's always in the paint sets. When people are getting paint sets, it's like one or whatever's. You know, it's not all the time, obviously. It's, you know, but I don't know. Well, like I say, I need you to send me some pictures and stuff, and then we can probably sort out replacements as well. Because obviously, I've been low on stock of Attack because they've been closed, and just to make them aware of it's still happening and why they need to get on top of it, because it's not obviously good for them. It's not good for us.
No, that's right.
We want it sorted. So. And then we can sort out replacements for the ones that are leaking as well. Yeah, so I have got like a list, you know, of everybody who's sent me pictures, and it's going to get all compressed into one email and go, look, I've had this, and this has been a problem over the past, you know, God knows, few weeks or whatever. So we've been sending them out, and is there we can sort out you know, of why it's happening and sorting out replacements, really. So yeah,
that's
right.
Like
I think sometimes, you know, I'm glad people are sending pictures and making it aware, because sometimes people just go off onto a forum and moan. Yeah. But not actually get in touch with the manufacturer to say, we think you've got a problem. We'll just bitch about it to everybody on the internet. But if the manufacturer doesn't know, then they can't solve that problem, or they perhaps don't realise there's a problem. Do you know what I mean? So it's just good to to give them the feedback, because I think it was a classic case with the AK metalizers, wasn't it? Really, they was a classic case, and they came amazing about that. I think they were above and beyond.
Yeah.
Because we have had some companies who not our problem and bury their head in the sand.
Absolutely.
Let's be honest, you know. So we don't seem too bothered, but I know Attacker are bothered. They're bothered about the brand and they want to build on the brand and stuff. So, like I say, I'm going to forward it on, and then obviously we'll sort out getting you replacements for the leaky ones that's obviously leaked all over the place.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Okay, couple more. Can we still get hold of the Revell 132nd Aces High Spitfire?
Yes, I've just had a look.
Cool.
Yes, I can actually get it.
Yeah.
So if anybody wants one, shout up.
Very good.
I'll get a few in.
We've got hi, still from a surprisingly sunny Scotland. Can I ask if you need the bench vent spray guard, the Velcro one? Yes, you should use it. We don't, clearly, because you wouldn't see anything. And Matt, you've got yours on, haven't you?
No?
No? Nathan?
I use mine.
Yeah, Nathan's got his on.
What's it look like?
What's that? It's a piece
What is
of,
it?
it's just
Oh,
a piece of,
The shroud.
The shroud.
yeah, that plasticky velcro. Yeah.
Yeah, you should. I don't actually know where mine is, and I actually don't know why mine's not on my. Why have I not got mine on mine? I don't know.
Why have you not got yours on yours? I don't have mine on mine because, as you can see, this is a live shot of my spray boot. If I had my hood on, you couldn't see.
Yeah.
So that's the problem with that one. You wouldn't be able to actually see in the spray booth if I was had it on. So I can't do it. And also I'm running two, so it'd just be one box. But you might notice I have got a bit of it on the edge here. There's still a bit of it there, just trying to stop the overspray from going down there. And I've got this one on top to help it divert in. But the whole idea is you're trying to, basically keep it all in one. So when you're going in, it's drawing in there. So almost you're in the spray booth. That way it's keeping it all and it's drawing it out. Like I said, the amount of people I see have got a spray booth here and they're spraying between their legs. And it's like, well, is your spray booth between your legs? Classic. Andy does it as well, I've seen, and it is one of those things, like, talk about hard job for your spray booth. At least if you're pointing at it, it's going in the right direction.
Yeah.
But, we've got members and they have theirs countersunk into the worktops and things like that, which is quite a clever idea. So when they're spraying like this. So you have your shroud up around and it's in and going down and then out. So again, it's different ways of doing it. These things you can angle as well on the side. So they're like 45 degrees up and all things like that. So yeah, it's just one of those really. You should use it because it helps get it all out.
Yeah, it is, yeah. It's good practice. Just
outside 2020 like that so much, you asked the question 4 times. Okay, got there.
It's got an echo.
Apparently.
A little bit. Neil asked a question a while ago about the once lockdown is over.
Mm-hmm.
I'm on holiday. I'm done. You're not seeing me till Christmas.
Yeah.
Is there a plan to do some sort of open day?
We can't, can we?
As I say, when the lockdown is completed and finished and all the rest of it, like we said before, we'll be having, we'll go back to having the open days on a Saturday up at the store. There's various things we want to do. We want to do the airbrushing courses and get them on. But until the world is back to normal, that's something that we can't do. Obviously, we can't open up the store. Matt's running around the warehouse doing all the picking for the orders and all the bits and pieces, but we're not actually open to the public. So yes, from that point of view, you have to do it online.
It's going to be down to social distancing rules and how they're going to implement it at the end of the day, isn't it?
I imagine you could probably, the shops near me have got a 4 customer limit, and they've got about a bit more square footage than you. You have to have an open day, but just let 2 people in it.
Queuing around the estate.
Day, wouldn't
it? Like a revolving. Yeah, I mean, you'd have to wait till social.
You're allowed in for 10 minutes and get out.
You need to know what you want.
It'd be like supermarket sweep. People running around, grabbing everything.
I mean, the plan was, we have spoke about this actually when they're easing it and what we're going to do with the shop. And I think it's going to be initially for the time being is definitely, if you're going to come and pick an order up, you're going to have to book an appointment. Be back to that, and you'll be the other side of the counter. There'll be no wandering around the shop like there has been, I think, for the time being. So, you know, we'll probably put the option back because we've took it off at the minute, but of pick up from shop what you know, so you save on the postage. You come in, you pick it up, but you make an appointment, and I think that's the way it'll be for a little bit, and then hopefully we'll just get back to some normality at some point, where we'll be back as we was before. But you know, we'll see. We're just we'll play it by ear and do it accordingly.
We'll
to what
follow the science.
the guidelines are.
We're led by science.
We'll be led by the science. That's always the cop out.
Yeah.
Apparently it was the red top one, Matt, that leaked.
Oh,
Red top. We don't sell red top.
Well, yeah, that's what I thought.
We don't sell red top. We sell orange top if it's an orange one.
It was orange top, yeah, black top, but definitely not a red top.
No, red top's the acrylic range. So that'd be odd. That's leaked.
Question regarding the Chinook. I quite fancy doing Bravo November for the Falklands trim. I have the Atelier kit on the way. We'll need decals and good references. Well, decals is a doddle because you only need BN on the front
yeah.
and on the back end. So it's like a piece of cake for that, isn't it? But yes. I don't know if she got retired. Is she now the Gate Guardian at... I don't know which one they used as the Gate Guardian for... because obviously she's not flying anymore, surely. I think they retired them now. They're all the newer spec ones these days. But they've got one of the Gate Guardians, I can't remember which one it is now, which is just as you're going in on the left hand side. I don't know if it's Bravo November that went to that life or wherever she ended up.
Can I just answer David on here about his order? He's placed an order, he wants to add a bottle of paint to it. To make my life easier, can you get it off the site, and you're going to have to pay postage, but I will refund the postage on it if that makes sense, and I'll add it to your other order. Because by the time this is done, I'll have forgot what you'd want. It'll just make it easier for me, to be honest. And then I'll sort the postage out.
Yeah.
I think it's still flying.
Oh, is she still flying? Crikey.
I imagine she'll go to. I imagine she'll get a very special hangared space in the RF museum one time.
I was going to say, I wrote that bloody helicopter.
I was going to say, with that one and the other one that got cut in half, there's a cut and shunt in as well, wasn't it, that they were using? It was half the old Argentinian one, if I remember rightly, and an RAF one. So they cut them in half and put them together, and were using that for a while. Those were in the days when we didn't have any, and they were very short supply. Now we've got bloody hundreds of the things. Right, there's got a set of the orange line in last week from a US vendor with a loose cap. Nearly had to use the C4 to get the bottles out of the packaging where it all welded up.
Yeah. Again, I'd just shoot attacker an email and just explain.
Yeah, let them know. Get them knowing. Shoot them message. They rate us because they're going to get inundated by people. But it was the only way to get things changed. Trust me. Have a word with the said manufacturer and they will change it.
Yeah.
If using PVA or deluxe products, card adhesive to glaze a window, what would be the maximum size you could attempt? Well, as I say, I think I've got the record for that. We had it out the other week. I won't get it out again. I haven't got any room. But I've done a window which is over 1 centimetre square out of PVA glue and stuff like that. But again, it's one of those ones where you just build on it and keep going, and you have to allow that it's not going to be crystal clear. It's going to be something else. But at the end of the day, I would say you're probably easily up to 5 or 6 mil circles, because I've done it on airliner windows. And to be honest, we were discussing this. If I've moved them now. Oh no, I haven't. The windows here that I have, which are for the VC10, are truly awful. They're not even clear. In fact, they're not even molded in most cases. So I will be just PVA gluing those, and those are probably 5-6 mil circles. So that'll be and I tend to use, to be honest, because it's thicker, the Micro Industries Crystal Clear, and just pop that in, mix it, and then you leave it. And I use it for all airliners, and to be honest, I did it with the C160. That had all of those done with it as well, and worked no problem at all.
Is it easier with a stick?
Yeah, a cocktail stick in the middle, whip it round, drag it out slowly, and away you go.
I'm thinking if he's a proper modeller, he'd have punched them out of a die set with some clear acetate.
Oh, would I?
Yes.
Good job I'm not a proper modeller and I cheat. Yeah. Andy says he would like an Aces High Spitfire then, please.
Right, I'll put an order in for some and we'll get them in, no problem. I actually forgot that was out. We did have some in when they first came out, but
Again, I think that's one of those kits which no one really wanted when it first came out, and now it's getting a bit scarce. Everybody wants it.
Yeah, it's weird, that, isn't it?
yeah.
Phil, what if there's no return to normal as we know it? Might take a while. I think it probably will. I don't think this is going to be a quick fix, you know? It's going to be something that hangs around a while.
A couple of years, I suspect, or when the vaccine comes out.
Yeah.
And then do you really want to test it and be like Blinky the fish?
Yeah.
I'm telling you. Right, hold on. I just saw one there. What do I just missed it? Oh god, it's moving around a little bit because I'm a little bit behind everybody else. Where are we? Just to give Matt a laugh, as soon as he said, I think he means Aptai Lung, I went to order smoke and it's out of stock.
Yeah, they're out of stock.
Oh, right.
Starship Filth and Smoke are the two that are out of stock that I ordered. So they're out of stock at AK.
Right,
So
okay.
everything that I've had in, I've put in. Yeah, can't do a lot about that. If they ain't got none at the suppliers, I can't have any, I'm afraid.
Yes.
Yeah. Bitumen, what's the other one? Engine grime, is it?
Is it? Can't go wrong with Starship Filth.
We've got a thing nailed, Dora Wings section on the site now. Haven't we? And the Armour Hobbies Hurricane.
Armour Hobbies.
Right, Roger, because Roger's put a thing up to me. How up to date is the website? Everything's up to date. I have got some paint to put in on the Attacker singles, but I need to be at work to do them. If that makes sense to know, because they just come on an invoice as Attacker loose paint. And there's some cameo I need to put in as well. So that'll probably be tomorrow when I'm back in at work, because I've not been in today. It's technically, we're shut Mondays, but I've been doing stock. So, yes.
Cool. Paul says thank you for the prompt delivery of his black wash. No problem at all. PM Models also has got a restock of Dark Dirt coming their way. It went out today. So watch this space. So they will have it shortly. Yeah, sorry, David says, sorry, it is the orange one.
Is it an orange one, is it?
Yeah.
So we'll send us a picture on an email then and we'll see. And can I just say onto our chat, yeah, keep politics out of it, lads, please.
Are they? Yeah.
Don't do it on here.
Don't do politics on there. Good day from Melbourne, Australia. Hello from France. BN apparently went back to the Falklands quite recently on operations. Christ, give it a break. Bloody hell, must be the oldest Chinook in the fleet.
So,
Get our money's worth out of it, haven't we?
Jesus, talk about, yeah. So can't be any hours left on that airframe, surely. It's like Trigger's broom. That's the thing, isn't it? There's probably nothing original on that whatsoever.
I tell you what, I bet the RF Museum have been eyeing it up for a while now, thinking, oh, we'll have that.
One day we'll get that. One day. And no, it keeps going.
Keep going and going.
November.
It's had a good life, hasn't it, really? I mean, serving life, it's...
I think what I was shocked at, because obviously I've got a few friends that have connections with the Tornado, they started to RTP Eurofighters. Pull them to bit, so they've not lasted as long as the helicopter.
No. Good afternoon, Phil, Matt and Nathan from a hairy stick Humbrol enamel user in Wales.
Wow.
Good on you. Keeping the hobby real. That's proper modelling, that is.
Do you know what? That's one thing.
Fancy airbrushing rubbish. These modern lacquers.
You know, we were saying the other day about, like, airbrushing is a skill that you have to invest time to acquire. I can't brush paint.
No, nor can I. I'm
Oh,
terrible,
really?
absolutely terrible. Yes, I must admit, I am truly awful at that. Gordon says, with Corona and social distancing mean that Telford doesn't happen this year.
There's a post on the IPMS website,
Mm-hmm.
and August is when they have to make the big commitments.
Yeah.
And they're looking at a number of contingencies, i.e., it might happen, it might not, it might happen in some different way. But there's no. We'll go on the IPMS website, get it straight from the horse's mouth.
2 people in at a time.
Yeah, it does make you wonder. I must admit, I've had this conversation with a few people and they've said, how are they going to make that work? How can you honestly make that work? And I just don't understand how they're going to do it. If it's anything to do with social distancing, how is that ever going to work?
I think what they do is perhaps, I mean, this is me speculating. Me as a SIG, I put 4 tables. One easy way to get more space is to cut the amount of space that the exhibitors have down. But the other thing is you've got venue capacities and all sorts. So I think what they're saying is, I think what the IPMS are doing is let's wait and see.
But honestly, from a business point of view, it costs Flory Models and PM Models thousands to do that show.
Yep.
So we are into that by a lot of money. And if we're into the situation where there's social distancing and stuff like that, which I don't get me wrong, I totally agree with, it should be, but that means we're not going to get the customer turnover to warrant getting our money back. If we've got a thing where we're only allowed, not being funny, you've been there, you know what it's like, we'll have 10 deep around our stand, you know? And it's one of those things where, you know, at the end of the day, it's, sorry, let me just turn that off because it's going to drive me mad, you know, where obviously you got money coming in all the time and you sort of need that to be able to break even, you know. So from that point of view, if we're into a situation where they're only allowing a handful of people in the show at a time and you're all 2 meters apart, we will not get back our investment. There's no way you could get it back. So it would be, from a business point of view, is it even worth us going, you know?
Well, that means the IPMS maybe need to open dialogue with, I mean, it's easy for me if they say to me you can't have 4 tables, you've got 1 because we need to widen the aisles.
Yeah.
I'm all right with that because I'm not financially invested in it. But maybe that's a conversation.
Well, it is because the traders.
They need to have a conversation with the vendors, don't they? Really, more than than me.
Let's say they never reach out to anybody trade-wise. You know, I'm not being funny. We have 5-6 tables there. You know, from a point of view, we're not a small trader just on a corner anymore and all the rest of it. So we've got a lot of money tied into that show. So we do have to think of it as saying, right, okay, if we're in there, you know, and we're only getting, I don't know how many customers that would be walking. If you're 2 meters apart, seriously, it's like, I don't think you'd actually ever get the money back like that. You know?
And the other side of the coin for them is, if it's allowed to happen, which is an if, will people stay away?
And to be honest, that is what I've been talking to a few people about it who aren't going to go. Because, not being funny, they are more mature members, shall we say, and from a health point of view, you know, they're doing their bit to socially isolate, and it's like, well, are you going to go out and go into that type of environment where, you know, no disrespect to anybody here, it's not the most hygienic, you know, everything's being handled, everything's being touched, you're being coughed at all the time. You know, we often make jokes about it, but it's true. You know, and when you're into that thing where the virus running around as it is at the moment, it could be a little melting pot in there for it, you know. So I have to think, us and the team, health-wise as well, there's a lot of things to take into account, and I think people don't realise that. You know, financially, it's a huge commitment. We have to allow thousands and thousands of pounds for that show, you know, and then we have to get that money back for us to be worth doing it, you know, and then obviously we've got the health of the staff. Because if they suddenly then all go down with it, you know, we are somewhat responsible.
But I think on respect to the IPMS who are organising it, August they need to make a decision, because us as traders as well, if it's going to go ahead and, you know, and it is, we've actually got to get stock in.
Absolutely, yeah.
And not just from our point of view, from the other traders as well, because they need to know if it's on or off for them, because like I say, it's a big investment. And you need to organise it. You can't organise it a month before
No.
and just cram getting your stock in, because it don't work like that. So we're going to have to see, really. My gut feeling is I don't think it will.
I must admit, my gut feeling is I don't think it's going to happen, or if it is, it's going to be a very small, limited affair. And again, it's that thing of saying, well, do we then take up half a stock, so to speak, both companies and all the rest of it, and we just do it as a social distance type affair, so obviously even our stock's laid out differently, to make it still go to try and get the money back. But again, it's that thing, we've already paid and invested into it in all counts. So it's like, just really from our point of view is then saying, as I said, a couple of months beforehand, we have to get in stocks for it as well. And obviously for me, I have to manufacture the wash and everything to take up there. So it's one of those ones where we need to know what's going on,
I just can't see how if the social distancing rules are still in place, is how they can be enforced. It's impossible to do it there. It's impossible to do it at a trade show, I think.
I think we need to look at.
So.
Yeah, it's a question. I think we're going to have to put that into the Wingman Models question box, aren't we, and say we can't talk about it because there's so many moving parts. It could be academic.
It could be.
They might not be allowed to do it.
Yeah.
And if they are allowed, I mean, the IPMS have got their own financial commitment booking that huge venue, and if they don't get the numbers through the door,
because they're not being funny. Like last year, it was for the international guys, because obviously I speak to a lot to the international traders. They were worried obviously about Brexit. So they were on tenterhooks, even if they were going to come over, because of the entire thing with Brexit, how that was going to be handling, and everything. And as it happens, it sort of passed off like a damp firework as usual, because no one knew quite what was going on. And as we know, this year it doesn't make any difference either. It's because none of the laws and legislations are going to come into effect until January anyway. So, again, they're a little bit more happy. But I remember talking to a lot of them saying, we don't know. We've only paid the deposit because we're not sure if we're going to be there. Because how is it even going to run and work financially in various things, and with taxes and all those things that happen with it. So that was one thing last year, and then this year. So I do feel for obviously IPMS putting on the show, because they've got all of these various things going on. It hasn't been an easy couple of years for them running the show. Tip my hat to them. I wouldn't want to do it because it's a literal minefield. Just trying to keep everybody happy and going through.
Yeah.
We will see. I think at the end of the day, it's very much like Wing That Wings. We don't know, so there's no point really speculating until we're a little bit closer to it. And then, but definitely we need to know 3 months in advance what we are doing, purely because of the financial commitments we've got into it. We've already paid, to be honest, for the stand. And all the rest of it, so that's done and dusted. But there is a lot more, and obviously from a stock point of view, especially from the PM model side, we have to invest heavily in stock to take to the show, so we need to know what's going on with that as well.
And I mean, we have actually got our accommodation booked.
Again,
if it's not, that needs to be sort of cancelled and rebooked for next year and sort of scenario. So
absolutely. Again, there's a lot of moving parts to all of this, and unfortunately, because like we said, it's very fluid, it's very dynamic with all of these things, and we just don't know how it's all gonna work and how it's gonna run and stuff like that. So definitely be one of those ones.
We will see.
Right, a couple of little questions here. Hello to you all from Virginia. Phil, just a preview. The Armour Hobby Hurricanes are little gems. Just have a look at the rudder attachment, as it can be a bit of it skewed. I will have a look, I must admit. That's what you were going to send me, wasn't it?
What was that? Sorry, mate.
One of the Armour Hobby Hurricanes.
Yes. One of them and a Scamel.
Cool, very good. Can we get in Mr. Colour lacquer paints?
I can. Problem is, I'd have to buy them in sixes. They come in packs of 6.
Yeah.
I can't get them.
This is a case of paint ranges. We don't actually do the lacquer range because we've got other lacquer ranges, i.e. Hataka and Tamiya. And you know, and it is a bit, you know, you could go on forever and have everybody's paint range in there.
Yeah, that's
so we've
probably-
never gone down the, you know, the Mr. Colour paint range for their lacquers, although they are very nice, don't get me wrong. It's just we decided to go down a slightly different route because we carry their acrylic range or Aquatis
we've
range.
got that Aqueous range, haven't we? But we already had committed to doing the Attacker lacquer range,
Yeah.
because that was the second range we got in, wasn't it, after the Tamiya?
Mm-hmm.
Tamiya was first, then it was Attacker, then we got the Mr. Colour Aqueous range in, and then all the thinners and stuff, and then obviously now we've got the LP range of Tamiya paints. And
Yeah.
then we're going to get an acrylic range in, which is more than likely now going to be the Blue Line Attacker.
Mm-hmm.
And the Vallejo Panzer Racers range.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Phil, as a member, will it be possible to pre-order the thick polishing sticks? And if so, how? Also, Bravo November must be at least 38 years old now. Jesus. Would you want to get in an airline that's 38 years old?
You probably have and not realised.
Yeah,
it.
probably.
do, yeah.
Yeah. To be honest with you, there's about 38 of you now, because I looked earlier, who actually have pre-ordered it anyway. If you go into the members only area on the site, which is open, that's where you get your mouse mats and your other bits and pieces, and the other stuff that's near discontinuation are in there. If you pop your name down, when things go back to normal, I will do another run of them, because we did them about 6 months ago now. So I'll probably do another limited run of them and go. They're not going to be a standard item because it doesn't fit within our range, but I'll do a load more. And as always, if there's any left, they'll go out to the normal general public. But say, put your name down, because obviously you're on a first come first serve basis with it. And I say, I know there's 38 of you have put in pre-orders for them already, so they are in there, so you can do it in that actual area. So yes, 38 years old for Bravo November. Cool. Does Phil have a twin? Do I? Crikey, I hope not. Can't be two of me. They broke the mould when they made me, clearly. I've created a transitional sheen for the base coat on my F-35. What do you suggest I seal it with? So I don't lose the effect, using MRP's Grazed mixed with bronze. If you don't want to lose it, don't overcoat it. That's always going to be the thing, because if you overcoat it, like we said before, if you overcoat with gloss, it tends to go darker. If you do it with flat coats, it tends to kill off any type of sheen. So if you've got a nice coat, I would just stick with it. You know, polish the area with a polishing stick and then decal it directly onto the paint. And do it that way. I think that's the only way you're not going to lose any type of finish. And I know you get people out there, and I know I'll get the messages saying, if you use this product it will be fine, and that I've never found anything in all my years that actually will keep a metal or a sheen finish exactly the same. You know, because unless you've got the same consistencies of that paint, it will adjust. So I'd be very, very careful about doing that one. Again, classic example, F-35s, you know, technically it's what would you call it? What's it called? Have Glass 5 is the new one, which is that grey colour. It's not the same as what the Raptors use, which almost goes silver. It's a different one. But I used it on my 32nd scale F-16 that I did a couple of years back. And again, it's one of those where you want to keep the sheen, because it's the sheen that makes the colour. So with mine, it was literally just on neat, and then we put in a little bit of something in with it just to go. But I'd never overcoated that one because we like the effect. Do you think large events will happen this year? Honestly, no. If we're being honest, I don't think they will. But
Don't know.
again, the trouble you get, and this isn't me being political and all the rest of it, and as I said, I know, you know, the guys know my partner, she's a frontline worker and all the rest of it. I hear one side from her, and then one side from the government, and the other side from the media, and they're all different. You know, that's the trouble you live. You know, you get one from the front line, somebody who's, you know, dealing with it every day. You get another one, what Boris and that lot tell you, and the other one from the media and social media and stuff like that. And none of them are the same. And it's.
But can I just say, obviously, the right view is Julie on Facebook, and her view is obviously, or whoever on Facebook is obviously the right view.
Yes.
For people who follow that.
Yeah. But it's one of those ones where, you know, obviously the medical people tell me one thing, and again, some ways I'm always, as a business person and a modeler and a partner to somebody who's on the front line with it as well, I'm sort of drawn, because the business side of me wants to get things up and running again, because, you know, money, at the end of the day, we all need wages, not just me, you guys at home, you know, you guys all been furloughed and stuff like that, you know. The world is changing all the time, everyone's sat on their arse and all, you know, so in some ways people do need to get back to working, the kids need to be taught, you know, and all of those things. The world needs to keep turning, but you've got to save lives at the same time, and that is always going to be the balance, isn't it? At the end of the day, you cannot have both. It's going to be one or the other, you know. As I say, you can save lives and say, you know, lose money, or you can keep money and lose lives. I think it's always going to be the balance in between the two. And luckily, I don't make a decision. You know, as I say, as a company, we've taken steps to, you know, hopefully keep everything a bit more safe and stuff like that. And obviously keeping you guys entertained and doing various things. But at the end of the day, you know, as I say, if something's got to give sooner or later.
I think we've actually, out of the outcome of this, have been in a lucky situation of this hobby. You know, because obviously if you're into fishing or bike riding, or, you know, some of the outdoor hobbies that you know, people aren't able to do because they're in lockdown, at least if you are building a model, it is kind of a solo thing anyway. You know what I mean? You're indoors, you're in your own space or wherever you model and everything else. So for what, well, 7 weeks are we coming up? You've kind of got something to do. What I'm trying to get at, where probably some people are struggling because their normal activity or hobbies, you know, there's only so much gardening and cleaning and, you know, which you can see. Like I noticed, I think it was Friday when I left to go to the post office, the amount of people out on the road was a lot more than it has been. Whether that is just people because they just need to get out, if you know what I mean, I don't know.
I think so. What people cope with, yeah. And I mean, I think my daughter's reaching her limit at the minute from being at home. She's been pretty good, but she's having more off days than good days because she's bored, and there's only so much you can do to try and entertain her or keep, you know, or to keep her education going or whatever. But it's a situation we're in, and got to deal with it, really. Definitely. Yeah.
You know, so I think, you know, from a hobby point of view, we're quite fortunate.
I think that's the thing. I think, from our hobby as we sit here doing this, we've lucked out. You couldn't have asked for any better, really, would you? You've been told to stay at home and model. All right, tough one. I'll give it a whirl, you know. As I say, you know, if everyone turned around and said you're not allowed to use solvents, we would be stuffed, you know. So, you know, so in some ways, I was saying, short of it being winter and freezing cold outside, you couldn't have asked for better conditions to be in our hobby, you know. So, but luckily we've been able to supply people. I know obviously I've shut the florist store, and that's something I'll look into at the end of this week maybe, but at the end of the day, it's like, you know, luckily Matt's there getting all your orders out and keeping you up with supplies and various bits and pieces, and we've been doing everything we can to keep everyone's life normal at the end of the day, you know, to get some normality to everyone. So, but as I say, we will be having a holiday once it's all over.
It's it is what it is, really, isn't it? Like
I think sometimes in life you're always going to get things come along, and you just have to deal with it in the best way you can. And this is just, you know, as I say, most of us have never been through anything like this in our lives, and it is, you just literally have to just get on with it. You know, you deal with what you've got. You know. Steve says, I'm currently building Italer's 132nd F35. I've got two questions. One, is it possible to give 2 or 3 coats of Tamiya matte varnish on the ram panels during the time that it's masked? You could do, there's a very similar to a technique I use to do my Raptor. So what I actually did with the Raptor, the ram panels, I painted it all the colour, masked all the ram panels, and then I gave it a coat of, I've got to remember now, I think it was Alclad, chrome from about 3 foot away, just dusted it over it and then unmasked it all, and the contrast was brilliant. It worked really, really well right the way over. So I see no difference of doing the same thing. So you get obviously the flat look everywhere else, and then the round panels are all going to be just normal paint, and you'll get the nice contrast then between the two.
Got a question that's kind of related before we move off from paint finishes. Alex asked a while ago, if you're not going to gloss your metallic or maybe your have glass paint, how do you avoid carrier film from the decals?
Silvering.
Yeah.
So again, the thing is, when you're obviously, if you're not going to do your surface of your model, I would still polish the area where the decal's going to go, even if you've got quite a fragile, just obviously with the white side on a polisher. So if you've got one of the polishing ones, if you use the white side and literally just do the panel area where you're going to go, that's as good as a gloss coat as you were going to go down anyway. Then you can put it on, and you can still use, as long as you've used, obviously, you know, your paint's totally dry and you don't go over with gallons of like softener, but you can still just use like your Micro Sol, which is the red one, the finishing one, over the top, just to get it to settle in and bite in. And then when it's gone on there and gone down, you can actually then just polish over the top of the decal again, just to get rid of any little marks and stuff like that in there. Or you can come along with the green side if you want to flatten it down a little bit, and just go over the top of the decal, and that's what I tend to do. And you think, you know, my Falcon down in here, that's never had a top coat over it at all. You know, so it's just a case of like going through the motions of with the weathering of being on top as well. If you're going to come along with like washes afterwards, you just have to be a little bit more mindful, because you don't want to go underneath. A bit like using oils, you don't want to go under the carrier film because you haven't sealed it, but it's enough to hold them on there and go over the top with them. So, and it's something I just don't tend to do now. I don't tend to overcoat after I've finished with it. You know, you can go over it if you want to just like nail it all down and make it flat, and something I'll probably end up doing, to be honest, with the Discovery, because it's a very, very flat finish. It looks proper dusty, so chances are that will get a flat coat right the way over the entire thing once it's finished. But then I'll probably end up popping around with it, polishing up some areas by hand once it's been finished. Telford will be down to the owners of the International Centre. If they say yes, it's okay, then it will be down to IPMS. Very true. But
What's
then,
the best? Sorry, go on.
well, I was just going to say, but then you've got who obliged to the contract, because obviously IPMS have got a contract to be for that venue. So if the International Centre turns around and says yes, we're going ahead, if IPMS say, well, we're not on health and safety grounds, does that mean they still have to pay? How will that work? That's the trouble. And in that case, then you have to, then do they pass the buck to the trader to make the decision if they're still going to go? Because they'll say, well, from our point of view, we're still going ahead. You know, so again, it's a very, very difficult one, because then we're into the situation of saying, well, look, we've paid thousands now, so we're going to have to go, because otherwise we'll lose our money. You know?
Yeah, that's what the pubs were saying at the start of this, wasn't it? Like, you've advised people not to go to the pubs, but we're still open.
Yeah.
Catch-22, that.
It's not a great situation, that, is it? I think Alex just means the carrier film, not silvering.
Yeah, but the thing is, if you're the carrier film, you know, if you've got your decal down properly, you won't see it anyway. That's the thing, isn't it?
So it's all down to your decaling skills.
It's all down to getting your decal to go down. Also, if you've got massive amounts of carrier film, is take the carrier film off. You know?
Yeah, it's a tricky one, isn't it?
And David's put a question: what is the best way to remove steps between the wing root and fuselage root?
Oh, that's the bane of any aircraft builder, isn't it?
That's it. As I say, skinny sticks and just sand them in and blend them in. And if you need filler, if it's too much of a step, then it's just in there with the filler. You know, as I say, it's one of those ones you have to bite the bullet. If you've got the step there, ideally you don't want the step, so you want to do everything possibly to make it, when you dry fitting, to put it in with no step. That's what you really want to go for.
Hold on, I've just seen one from Darren. Any special plans for your V-Day show, bank holiday?
What, Friday?
Yeah.
Well, I thought we'd all get dressed up in
Did not.
1940s garb.
Knock yourself
Sit here
out.
like this the whole time.
Yeah, that's it. I'm going to come as Churchill. Just a cigar like this.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, we'll get the bunting out. I'll
Yes.
decorate my shed. Are we doing a show Friday?
Apparently, we're doing a fresh show Friday now. We've not had days off, you know that.
All right. Okay. God, I had other plans. I was going to go away for the weekend and
Well, yeah, going to go to the beach.
Outside.
Coming down to Devon to go on the
Yeah.
beach, you'll be fine.
I was going to get my tent out. I was going to go camping. You know, barbecue outside.
That's it, get some friends round.
Yeah, friends round. Go and see my mother. Went seen for weeks, and yeah. I don't know. No, we haven't got any plans. If not yet, sure we can sort something out. Is Airfix still producing the Javelin? No. It should be back out again soon.
Yes.
At some point next year. It is due to come back out, innit? It is due for a release, but obviously we don't know when that is anymore. So
It was the sea venom that had damage to the molds, wasn't it? And they fixed it.
was it?
Yeah, not
What
the
did it do?
Javelin. I think it was the Cevix, and there was a problem with the mold.
All
And
right.
when we're talking at Bolton, they fixed it, but like a lot of things, I think it's going to be COVID
Yeah.
throwing a few spanners in the works, isn't it?
Yeah. Where'd you get your T-shirt from, Phil?
Oh, what's it called?
T Public.
Not Teespring or something, is it?
I can't remember the company name now.
It's called Fruit of the Loom.
Yeah.
Will be, won't it? Was it online?
Last something or other to nowhere, isn't it? Oh god.
Oh yeah, that's the one. Yeah.
Yeah, last exit to nowhere. That's it. If you go on there, they do everything. It's Star Wars, Aliens. I've got me HAL 2000 for next week. One and all the rest of it. So yes, yeah, last exit to nowhere. That's where
Yeah.
all my t-shirts come from. In 1918, there was social distancing, but with the end of the war was over in November, everyone went out to celebrate for 2 weeks. 2 weeks later, more people died from the second wave than the entire war.
Yeah, that's
Like
what's
the old
happening.
Spanish flu.
Yeah.
That's what's really freaking out Boris Johnson at the moment, I suspect, isn't it? The second wave. Autumn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Steve says, loved your show. You were the one person who brought me back to modelling a few years ago. Thanks, Phil. Well, thank you, Steve. My pleasure. Now it's costing you a fortune. I do
Yeah,
apologise.
probably. Now you
Balance has taken a hammering since.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, and I've spent a small fortune getting all the tools and equipment.
Yeah.
My wife says, thanks.
Yeah. Thanks, Phil. You're an absolute star.
No Teespring cop.
Anybody built a Star Trek kit? What's Star Trek? Is that some program or something? Or
It rings
That's
a
the
bell.
frisbee one, isn't it?
no idea?
I have got a couple of kits down there.
Uh,
I've got the Enterprise, which looks like it's from the new film, the 1 to 500, and I've got
Yeah.
the other Voyager thing as well, down there as well, the Voyager version. So I've got a couple of them down there. Where are we? So I fear nothing is going to be normal until the end of the year and beyond, unless the vaccine's found. Well, possibly. Matt, you should do a Hella Nord Nautilus. It's a lovely kit.
do you know?
I like the phrase Matt you should do.
I like that wording as well.
Yeah,
I think
Where's
that's
it
great.
What about Phil or Nathan?
No,
Why
I
are
think
people-
Matt is a far better word to use in that context, definitely.
Has it got wheels or tracks? Has it got a turret and a gun? To be honest with you, I've toyed a few times of actually getting that kit because I was talking to Nathan about it because they do
Yeah,
stuff
picked it
after
up.
you do.
Yeah, we've looked at it a few times, haven't we?
I have. I've put it in the basket and took it out, and for whatever reason, I mean, to be honest, I'm only going to be building the Argus here for like a bit of sympathy for Phil, because I'm back into doing armour and dioramas and all that you can see. So planes are not high on my priority list at the minute, but you know he's going to need all the support he can get. So Nathan's got his income in as well. don't look like that. You're gonna really enjoy it.
We are. We're all doing Mac 2. Told you, it's the future. Mac 2 sales are going to go through the roof, or they're going to plummet when they see us do it. It's going to be one of two ways. We're either going to kill their business and they see us trying to hash it together, or it'll make them one or the other. I don't know myself yet. Having never built a Mac 2 kit, and now I've been fondling it. Well, I say fondling it, cutting my hands on it over the weekend to look at it, you know. Anyway, I've ordered some 36 grit sandpaper. It'll be fine. I've got a couple of rolls coming in.
And a belt sander.
Stick it on my belt sander. It'll be absolutely fine. Yeah, that's the way. I'll be there. It's going to be
Gonna say,
fine.
I've got my random orbital sander reset back up.
Yeah, that's it.
Some 120 grit discs on it.
Yeah, it'll be fine.
Beautiful. Right, good.
Phil and the
Back to
team,
the old
you've
job.
made it fun for me. Come back to the hobby after 40 years. It's so different now. It is a lot different. Definitely.
It's very different.
A lot of you are mentioning on here about no chance of a show being this year, and a lot of you have said that even if it was to be on, you wouldn't go, which is, you know, obviously fair enough. Apparently, Eddie Izzard says cake or death. There you go. It's a good way of putting it, isn't it?
Cake. Yeah, that'll be definitely your lot. Cake.
Yeah, I'd definitely go with cake. Phil, Osprey Publishing has done a modelling the Mitsubishi. Are you familiar with it? I probably am. I know most of them. To be honest, I don't like following those. This is going to sound really odd for somebody who makes videos for people to follow along. I don't like to follow people who have done builds of, because I think you fall into the same traps they've done. I know that sounds stupid because I do videos that you guys all follow me doing it, but I like to find my own faults, if you know what I mean. It's a bit like why I never watch another person's review, and then I get dumb because people say to me, you haven't done your own work on that review. If you'd seen such and such, he said, well, then it wouldn't be my review, because otherwise I'd just be saying what everybody else has said. So that's why I tend to not look in the kit or watch another review until I've made my own opinions on it. My opinions are my own, as it says. I should have a disclaimer.
You should, yes.
My
All my
opinions are
opinions
my
are
own
my-
and not those of my team or my company.
Yes, that's the one. Yeah, we should have that on when we come on here.
I think we should have
We're
a
a bit
disclaimer.
behind We're a bit late now, aren't we, really? After
Yeah.
being on our 7th week. Perhaps should have done that on the first week. There
Have
we
a
go.
little thing that comes up. We used to have the ones on the old shows, wouldn't it, of an evening?
Health warning at the
Health
start.
warnings we used to put up.
They are, Nathan. They're saying should do the Avro York in Burling Airlift livery.
Not a bad idea, because then I could use the wings off an Airfix Lancaster then.
No, that's why you can't have that, because there's no cheating. You've got to use what's in the box. So, and does Phil still want to Klingon bird of prey?
Not really.
Yeah, that'd be cool for weathering.
I've suffered from Klingons for years. No, yeah, it's very nice. To be honest, I had one and sold it. I did have the big one. And then Matt got in the 350 scale one, wasn't it? The big ones?
Yeah, we've had 2 Klingon things in, haven't we?
The big ones. And to be honest, if I was to do one, if I had to do something Star Trek, not that I mind Star Trek, 'cause I do watch it. I like the new ones, to be honest. There you go. But anyway, the Klingon bird of prey, I think is the coolest one out of them all, isn't it?
Yeah.
Definitely.
If there was one that was like the same size as a 72 scale jet, that'd be nice.
Yeah.
I don't know what
That'd
the
be like
scale-
one
I don't know-
billionth, would it? Scale?
Yeah, I don't know what the scale is. I've no idea.
Yeah, 1 to couldn't get enough noughts on the box. They do it in Roman numerals just to fit them all on.
It'd be sweet if Bandai would get into that.
Yeah, yeah. It
What
would
was
be.
what was that puppet program we was on about the other day? Not Terrorhawks, the other one. What was in space? Oh, geez.
Terrorhawks.
No, the other one. There used to be Terrorhawks, and there used to be the other one.
I don't know.
Oh yeah, I know the one you mean.
Starfleet.
Yeah. Starfleet.
That
Starfleet.
their ship looked like a Klingon bird of prey,
It
didn't it?
did, because it was like an
Wasn't
X. It was a cross between a giant X-wings. It used to have multiple
Yeah.
ships would make up the big one, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
I'm going to
Yeah.
start looking on scale mates for Klingons now.
I thought you was going to look for Starfleet.
Yeah, I bet you won't find much.
That is-
Trouble with Starfleet, all of their puppets were positively scary. We've got one here. Says, now for something funny. Again, would you build the old Revell 132nd F-14 Tomcat? And if so, how would you go about it? Now that thing, if I remember right, it's got raised panel lines right the way over it.
Respect them.
I have built it. I built it as a kid. It used to be on top of my bookcase.
That's a big aircraft in 32. Isn't
It is. Well, I say I've got my other one there. I've got the trumpeter one, doing its standing on its arse, going straight up, which is a perfect way to display it because it takes up no room whatsoever. But yeah, again, it's one of those kits where I probably wouldn't build it, because if we're going to build it, I'd do the Trumpy one. I wouldn't do the Tamiya one. I'd do the Trumpy one, because the trouble with the Tamiya one, it's half and half, isn't it? Half recessed, half, raised panel lines. And again, that's really showing its age as well, that kit. So I'd rather do a Trumpy one and throw a little bit of aftermarket at it.
I did answer you, Roger. I answered it earlier. Hey, I don't know where he has to keep going out to, but he keeps going out somewhere.
Just popping in and out, is he?
Yeah, it must be.
That's how Roger gets in 6 mile walks, popping in and out the shed.
He must do. He must do a few laps of his garden.
A lot of people saying Monkey 555550 says Matt's doing a great job. He's had 3 orders over the last month. Keep on going, mate. Good job.
Thank you. Doing my bestest. Doing my bestest.
Absolutely. Cleaning out the attic. He's also found the Revell 132nd F15 BD. The kit is from the late 80s. I'll tell you what, I've built that one as well. That actually isn't a bad kit, weirdly. It's quite accurate for an A. Sorry, you've got for the B, forget the D, because it's got the wrong cockpit in it for the D, but for a B, it's alright. It's a bit like they just gave it and they called it the E. Well, it couldn't be an E, because it had no strikey bits in it at all. It had the wrong cockpit. But yeah, actually, that's not a bad kit. It's a bit like their Phantoms, the old Revell 32nd Phantoms. Recessed panel lines, quite nice detail, very basic, but you can throw aftermarket at it. Are you going to do a review of the Kitty Hawk Black Hawk? Did it about a year ago, so you're out of date with that one. But yeah, go back through, you'll see it. I did it about a year ago now.
But it is, isn't it?
That again, I might be even older than a year ago now, thinking about it.
Because that was the one where you did a review. Everybody wanted one, and then we just couldn't get them.
Yeah, we couldn't get them. No,
months,
Yeah.
months, and about 6 months later, I think they actually turned up.
Yeah,
That ship had sailed by then.
it did.
Like,
Yeah,
well,
because and also the weird thing is, I had one of the pre-production jobs, and
yeah.
it didn't come with anything that I had, because I had the Medal of Honor in it and everything. Here it is. So yeah, there's the review.
Yep, there it is, isn't it?
So yeah, it's quite an old kit. You've done it. Say not an old kit, but I did it a long time. I'm waiting for the Sea version to come out, the Navy one, the Seahawk. So
That the Black Hawk Down version, that one there.
yeah, that's it.
The
That's the
background.
Somali one. So that one I had came with all the resin figures, which it doesn't come with, and it came with the Medal of Honor, which is just tat. Terrible tat. But anyway, there you go. It's not the Medal of Honor, clearly. It's just I felt a bit wrong that they included a Medal of Honor in it, if you know what I mean. Like, people have earned that properly, not to have a tin crappy thing in a case that came with the kit. I just thought that was a bit disrespectful. Anyway, that's just me. Remember, my opinions are maybe not that of other people's around me. Just saying. Matt, you like transports. The Nautilus went together with hardly any filler.
Ah, good. It's on my list. You know, probably a future build for the Luftwaffe SIG. So, and
Yeah.
I did find a picture of quite a nice sort of semi-derelict one, to be honest. You know why? Because they had the Dayglow
Well, it faded.
paint, but it all faded, and yeah, the paintwork had seen better days, shall we say. I don't think Teacup would save it. So yeah, I think so. I bet you've thought about it, and you know, doing one of them.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen that. I think that at the Luftwaffe Museum in Berlin, Gatow got the Nautilus with that sort of matte, faded, day-glowy paint finish on it because it's weathered to bits. But it's such a funky-looking aeroplane. It's
Yeah,
been
good
my
price.
sort of. I've picked a few up from under table sales and gone, yeah, then put it back.
Yeah.
It's different, isn't it? That's the thing.
Yeah, I think it is. Like I say, and it's be interesting. It'd be interesting one to have on the table as well.
Yes. Quick question here. It's about doing the soundproofing in helicopters and things like that. You're saying how to go about. To be honest, I use foil, and you will see it in here because I did it in here. There we go. So I foiled this. So this is literally just normal kitchen foil, and then to get the diamond pattern, you just go and find it somewhere else. So I had another part that had a little bit onto it, so I just rubbed it to emboss it so it comes through, and then you just stick it where you want. To be honest, I used it in there, but the main one, sorry, you can hardly see that. The main one is that I used it on the Chinook for all the soundproofing, because obviously it doesn't come with any of it, and it has got the area behind the pilots in the front. It's all quilted behind it, so I made them for that, where it's got the heater and all the rest of it for it. Okay, but same thing. So this is just literally kitchen foil, and then I've embossed it into it. So you just press it, and then that way you can then put it up to where you want it, and you can paint it and then dry brush it for it to come through. This is at a wash, or it's in the process of getting the wash there. So you've got all this diamond soundproofing all in here. So actually when we did the Wessex for the internals, so I don't know if I've got another picture showing it a little bit more clearly in here. Hold on 1 second. No.
Hey, I was about to say you did all that and you can't see any of it.
No, that's right. So I don't know if I've got a picture where you can see it in here.
No.
No.
Nope.
All that lovely hard work. That's what I was saying about. You do all this stuff, you never see any of it.
Nope.
No, can't really see it. Sorry.
See it. See it.
No, can't see it. Sorry. Waste
If
of
we're
time.
doing this Chinook though, I've seen somebody use like parchment paper, and that's got the quilting effect on it.
Ah, right. Yeah. So you can do it that way. Or the great thing about the foil is that you can just rub loads of it, and
Yeah.
then you've got it. You know,
Yeah.
and then you can just stick it, and you can curve it round corners because it's metal. It holds its shape, so you can always
Yeah.
like press it in. And to be honest, that's what I did with the Chinook. We just pushed it in all the areas, and it sort of conforms quite nicely and stays. So what I did was give it a coat of PVA glue for the roof, and just stuck it to the roof, and then had it come down the sides as it does. And then just bent it into place, and you just poke it with your finger, and that way when you to paint it, you just spray it as normal, or then just dry brush and a wash, and it gives a really nice effect for it. But that's just normal kitchen foil I used on that one.
It's a weird thing, isn't it? You spend that time doing it and you can't see it.
Yeah.
You know, you can spend time doing interiors on stuff and like doing a really nice job and shut it all up and never to be seen again. Bizarre.
So anyway, Mike says, hi guys, my grandson saw an SR71 and admired with it, and he wants to build one for him. So your two options in 72nd are, who does it? Is it Italeri does a version, and which is
Of what?
the SR71 Blackbird, and Hasegawa.
Hasegawa.
I was going to say Hasegawa do.
It's the Hasegawa one, but is that their kit? Or is that somebody else's? Because that is an old kit.
That's an old kit.
Not great.
Which goes on to our other one down here, Phil. Are you looking forward to the new tooled 148 scale SR71 Blackbird from Revell? To be honest, I think it's too big. It's going to be an absolute bloody monster because it's not a small jet.
No.
In 48 scale, it's going to be huge. So, and again, it's it's a weird thing for him to do. You know, I just don't understand that. But again, it's wrong scale, limited subject, if you know what I mean. But
Yeah.
if they did a Buccaneer, but it'd be perfect, even if it was Revell.
Hasegawa Academy did one.
Ah, that's the one I was thinking about. Actually, I think I've built the Academy one.
Oh, in 72nd?
Yeah,
Yeah, it looks like a 90s kit.
because it came with the A12 with the pod thing on
there's-
top, the little mini
looks like
version.
it's been reboxed a couple of times. Then Hasegawa, which is going back a bit as well.
Because how old's Hasegawa's kit? Is that 80s?
Changing the decals. 2007 they were changing decals on it, so it's an old one. Italeri, we've done one. I think it's a scale makes one, that one, isn't it?
It's what you can get as
I
well.
was going to say they're not an everyday kit.
I don't think any of them are in production.
No.
So you'd be looking at the second-hand market or eBay or somewhere to pick one up, or
I was going to say I haven't seen the Hasegawa one for years.
No.
Absolute
And-
years.
nor the Italeri one's not been out for a long time.
Yeah, because I'm
Is it-
going to say, thinking about it, was the Italieri one I built with the little drone on its back.
Yeah,
And I think
yeah.
that was the last time it got released. It was in that configuration.
well, that was a while ago then.
Yeah.
And Trumpeter
Trumpeter's never done one.
in the 90s, 98.
Did they?
Well, that was short-lived.
And
Yeah.
it got reboxed by a couple of companies I've never heard of. But Revell have done it in, I think it's one of those like shared tooling things, isn't it?
God,
But they're all a bit old. There's not a new one.
look, Chris just put thing up his quilt in a 1144 scale. Wessex, I think, by the looks of that.
Crikey.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Very nice. But say he's using the foil technique as well. See?
144. It's gonna be
Keep it simple.
tiny.
Have you guys tried fine detail with using an overhead camera to see better? Thinking of the 1 to 700 ships. That's it. Help you to see better. To be honest, when I do my reviews, my close-up cam, you see, I have on a full, whatever that is, 27-inch monitor, and it sees a lot better than I can. So I'm there going like this. Oh yeah, look, it's got raised rivets and all the detail. And it's funny enough, when I did the figure painting as well, when we did the figure for the Big 23, I was using that, and I was literally like this, because that's better than my magnifiers could do when it was zoomed right in. But the thing is, again, it shows all your imperfections, so it's like, because the thing is, you see it in the video build of it, I'm doing it, and it's like, I've got a bit of paint on his head, on his forehead, and I look at him with my naked eye, and I can't see it, and it's like, but I can see it on camera, and it's like, oh well, can't see it on there, we'll just go over it, it'll be fine.
It is. It's a funny macro, how it shows up and what you can't see with your naked eye. I've had it no end of times painting figures with my Optivisor on and like, oh, that looks a bit rough. You lift your Optivisor up and see it normally and it's fine.
You should find, yeah,
But
absolutely.
yeah, it just obviously magnifies it. Oh, excuse the pun, but it does.
We've got here, Steve says, since you inspired me to get back into the hobby, I've spent thousands, but it's been worth it. Fair enough.
Join the club.
Absolutely. Why hasn't anyone other than Orange Hobby done a 70-second F-35C? Again, it's one of those, it's a modern aircraft and it's very difficult. I think you might see one from Hasegawa at some point because they've done the B. So they have obviously got the money invested into it, and obviously you got the C, but the C's a different bird, isn't it? It's a lot bigger than the sort of A and B versions are very similar in size, but the C is a monster compared to them. Any chance of doing a review of a 148 scale Kitty Hawk SU-25? As soon as we can get hold of one, honestly, I'll do it because I'm interested and intrigued to know what it's like. How they've gone about doing it. It's very difficult aircraft to do because technically it's a normal aircraft with a couple of engine nacelles onto it. Then you've got the wings, and it'd be interesting to see how they've done it because the only one out there really is the KP kit, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's the old Capo one that's reboxed by everybody. So it'd be interesting to see how they tackle it and how modular they've made it, and have they made it with a different F front end so they can do a two-seater version, or are they just going to leave it alone and do it as the single?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think we're about wrapped up, mate. 5 o'clock.
Cool, very good. So sorry guys, any more questions, post them up and we're doing tomorrow. So very good indeed. Anyway, happy 4th of whatever. I've now got to put this lot back,
Tidying up for the next hour.
but it's had a dust. I've given it a dust and I've cleaned out my cabinet, but most of this lot, to be honest, lives upstairs now in my office. So I've got to take them all back up, but some of them still need a bit of dusting, so I'll give them a bit of a clean off this evening and get them all installed back upstairs. A few of you have asked me about doing this, which I was going to speak to the guys about doing as well, doing a tour of your man cave, because obviously I haven't done one forever, as everyone's pointed out, and it would be great to see your ones as well, guys. So I've had about 5 or 6 of you message me about saying, can I do one and all stuff like that. Again, yes, but because obviously with me it's a bit threefold. I've got here, I've got the unit, and then obviously I've got the office upstairs. So my Star Wars stuff all lives upstairs. So I'll have to sort of do a 3-way split thing. And Matt's going to do one from there, and then obviously he's going to do one round the unit as well.
Well, actually, we could probably do that Saturday because I think I've got Andy on Saturday. He's not working, so he said he's coming up. So we did say we'll do
He could be your cameraman.
a video of the shop and upstairs and whatever. So, and
Yeah.
then obviously I've got my long lead here, so I can do one off a cam. I mean,
Yeah.
it's not very big, obviously, in the shed. And that was good you've just said that, because the sure look of panic on Nathan's face then was a picture. I'm glad this is recorded.
That's it. It's good that we can get in with that one. That's not a problem.
That better not be the thumbnail that you put on YouTube.
Yeah, it's going to be the thumbnail. Definitely, if I can get it. But yeah, so that's the plan. We will get it sorted. I know I've had loads of you ask about doing one and everything else, and it'd be interesting to see. Yes, it would be. So I will see if we can get the guys, get Andy to do one as well.
Yeah.
So we'll get a little bit of a 4-way split. We can either do it live, but it's a bit tricky live for me around here as well as up there as well. So I might do mine as a little bit of a recorded one and to take you through. But to be honest, like my scratch building drawers and everything are just full of crap. Literally hardly open. It's full of junk at the moment. So I need to have a bit of a sort out and a tidy up, and then I'll give you a grand tour around the place. Very good. Right, okay then guys, if we are all done, we will call it quits there. So obviously we'll be with you tomorrow, probably same time, same place, same back channel, as we keep this all going, isn't it?
Yep.
So cool. Right, okie dokie then guys, thanks for watching. We will see you tomorrow. Bye.
Bye.
Wave Dave, wave.